Hey guys, so welcome to today's Monday Mindset Call here with your girl Nikki Knows Now, chairman here in the academy, and I'm super excited for today's Mindset Call, guys, because today's Mindset Call is called I Can and I Will. I want you to affirm that for me in the chat. I can and I will. So many times we say I can, all right, but we don't declare that we're actually going to do it. All right, because having the ability to do something and actually doing it is two different things. Would you guys agree? Like, I can do 10 sit-ups every day in the morning, but actually doing it is a whole nother story. I can decide, to not eat macaroni and cheese and cake, but actually doing it is a whole nother story. Anybody feel me? Anybody at all feel me? Let me try to change the view so I can see you guys. I like to see y'all. And if you can turn your camera on, enlighten me. Give me a wave. Let me know you're good. Anybody feeling me? What's that one thing, guys, that you know you can do, but you haven't really decided that you will do it just yet? For me, it's the macaroni and cheese. It is the 10 sit-ups. When I get in that zone, guys, I am a beast when it comes to my fitness. I'm a beast. Like, no one can hold me back. I see chocolate, chocolate again, the daily workout. It's the KFC for me. Nah. If I'm in Jamaica, that Jamaican KFC is a whole different vibe. Cake. Insta live. Oh, we're getting income producing activity now. Crisps. Oh, turn up. Don't do the crisps. What's your favorite flavor? Sweets, cake, food in general, chicken wings, fried chicken wings. Oh, you guys are trying it today. The KFC biscuits, oxtail, the red meat. Oh, don't tell the vegan. I don't know if the vegan's on the call right now. Don't tell the vegans. Cake, everything. So you guys are feeling me. Can and will are two different things, guys, and I want to talk to us about that today. All right, because I was thinking about this and I was like, a lot of us can, but sometimes it's not a skill issue, it's a will issue. It's not that we don't know how. It's not that we don't need more training. And guys, if you're new on the call, you definitely want to have your notebook, your pen. All right. It's not that you don't know how, it's that you don't want to. All right. And we got to be honest sometimes with ourselves. It's not that I don't know how to. It's not that I can't press that button. It's not that I can't avoid eating that food, but it's just that I don't want to. I don't have a big enough incentive to do it, right? I don't have, sometimes when, you go to the doctor and the doctor says, if you keep on smoking, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to actually, you're going to really hurt yourself. That's a big enough incentive now for you to take note and say, actually, I better stop smoking, right? And I'm using that as an example, but there's so many things that, until there's a consequence, until there's a real threat to what is going on in our life, we tend not to really take it seriously because we just don't want to, right? And there are some things that we can get away with doing that, guys. There's some things that we can say, you know what? It would be nice to do that, but actually I'm not that fussed. Anybody know what I'm talking about? There's some things in life where we know we want it, but we don't want it that bad enough because we don't want to make the sacrifice. We don't want to do what it takes to get that outcome. So we say, it's okay. I'm happy leaving it as it is. But then there's some things that we're going to say, you know what? I'm not happy with how it is. I have to do something about it. I will do something about it. I am going to do something about it. And so we got to make a decision, guys, right? What is the things that you're not happy with, but you're happy to leave them in that category? Or yes, I am happy with it. I'm not happy with it, but no, I'm not happy. I'm not willing to leave it where it is. I have to push forward. I have to make this decision and I have to do something about it. Because, I've been in leadership now, guys, for probably the best part of 17 years. And one of the things I found is most of the time when we talk about mindset, all right, most of the time when we talk about lack of results, it's not down to a lack of skill. Raise your hand if you know that your results right now is not because you don't have the skill to do it. It's that you don't have the will to do it, right? Because sometimes we just don't have the will, right? And I'll put my hands up as well, guys. There has to be a consequence sometimes. right? And each and every one of us will know what, what we have as consequences, right? I remember leading up to chairman, I said to my husband, I wasn't going to shave, right? I wasn't going to shave until we hit chairman. That was a sacrifice that I made for myself. You guys remember that, right? Had that hairy armpits. I had to wear all these big shirts. Who remembers that? And I shared that. I exposed myself, the hairy legs. It was madness, guys. But I made that. So I had to physically put myself under punishment because I was like, no. And guess what I started to do? I started to do 5 calls a day. I started to do all this. That's where Goldathon came out. Trader-thon came out. You get creative when your back's against the wall. Right? You'll be surprised, right? I'll tell you a true story. There was a lady, right? Yeah, you guys are funny. There was a lady, right? I remember telling her about I Am Academy. And she was just like, oh, I'll think about it. Yeah, it sounds interesting, but I'll think about it. I don't really mind. It's not really too fussed, right? Now, 2 people actually. One was a bus driver. One worked in JD Sports. The bus driver was a man. And the female worked in JD Sports. And I looked at them and they both had the exact same situation, guys. Check this out. The lady in JD Sports, I told her about it. One of my good friends said to her, listen, this business will be good for you. You know, you got a kid. You're always moaning about you hate JD Sports, blah, blah, blah. This is good for you. She was like, yeah. I'll definitely think about it. I'll definitely come onto a call one day, blah, blah, blah. The guy, same thing. Yeah, I'll definitely come onto a call one day. I'll definitely try to, make it happen. Now, here's what happened. One day, the guy was driving the bus and they changed the speeding from 30 miles an hour down to 20 miles an hour. Now, he was driving 25 miles an hour and he got a disciplinary because obviously he got a ticket and they went back to the bus. I don't know if there's any bus drivers on the call that know what I'm talking about, but he got a disciplinary. And now there was a potential that he could lose his job. Lady at JD, because she was going uni and doing loads of different stuff, had some problems at home. She kept getting to work late and she fell into a disciplinary, right? Here's the thing now. Guess what happened? They call me. Nikki, I need you to get me to trade and replace my income within the next 4 weeks because I think I'm going to lose my job. And now I don't want to be in a position where I have no money. But I told them about it 6, 7, 8 months before. I kept telling them about it. But sometimes until your back's against the wall, you don't have the will, the urgency to do something that potentially is going to give you the right outcome. But because you're confident, how many of you, I can only talk from experience, my mum, right? She's on benefits at the moment and, she's very, very comfortable on benefits. Now, I'm not disrespecting anybody that's on benefits, right? But when you start to look for a job and you're having to figure out, well, is it going to be worth my while? Because if I register as self-employed or if I go and get a job, my mom's excellent at baking cakes. She can do really, really nice cakes and she hesitates. If I do this, I'm going to get my benefits cut. If I go ahead and do this, how much do I have to prove? How do I have to register this? And now, until the back's against the wall, we get comfortable in situations. How many of us right now know that you're grateful that you have that income, that job, that salary coming in every single month from your job? Just put grateful in that chat, right? How many of you right now are grateful that in 2021, you have a job, that money is coming into your account every month? Even if you're called in sick because of your contract, you're still going to get paid, right? And yes, we're grateful for that job, but I want to find out from you guys that have that job, if your boss said to you tomorrow that you were not going to get any salary next month because they were declaring bankruptcy, so there was not even any money to pay you out for redundancy, how many of you on a scale from 1 to 10 would start working harder in this business? Because now your back is against the wall. How many of you right now will be like, you know what? I need to do something different. I need to start upping my game a bit more. I need to start, I need to start moving. Maybe I need to start watching more lives, or maybe I might even call in sick for 2 weeks, because if they're going to shut down anyway, I need to call in sick for 2 weeks and see if I can learn this skill even faster, because I got to prepare myself, because now my back's against the wall. Right? How many of us think like that, guys? Because when I got into this platform and when I got into this academy, I knew I was unhappy. My back was against the wall. So I didn't wait for that to happen. I called in sick straight away because I was like, listen, I need to get myself in a position where I'm not dependent in this place no more. Right? And I'm not telling anyone to do that. But what I want us to understand is the way that we think. Right? A lot of us say that we don't have time, but when our back's against the wall, we make the time, right? A lot of us say that we can't do things. We need training. It's not the training. It's just that we don't have the will to do it because we don't want to take the risk of doing something that potentially may make us feel uncomfortable or potentially may make us not be in a position. How many of us have worked in our job for more than 5 years? Type in the chat how long you've worked in your job. How many of you on this call right now, right, have worked in your job for more than 5 years? You know what you're doing back to front. No one can't chat to you. You kind of could do it in your sleep. When you go in, you get it done. Even if it's a hard day, you still know how to adapt, overcome. You know how to make it happen. You tick them boxes, you'll get the job done. Even on a bad day, you know it on the back of your hand. And so you're comfortable. No one can't talk to you about that. But when you come into this academy, it's like, oh my God, I'm starting from the basics. I'm starting from scratch. This is not my comfort zone. So now we put it in a different category. Now we don't go all in. Now we don't push hard. Now we don't put all out into it because guess what? We have that comfort zone. We have that salary. We have that income. And that income, guys, although it's a blessing, it's also a curse. I want you guys to understand this. That income is what they pay you every month to forget your goals, to delete your dreams, to eradicate your future, to sell yourself to them for that paycheck. Because ultimately, that's what you're doing. You're selling yourself, right? You're selling yourself for that paycheck every single month. They are buying your time. They're saying, listen, we want to buy your time from you so you can work on our business. And I want us to really, really think about this, guys, because I want to make sure we understand this. And I'm not disrespecting anyone. Guys, I worked in the bank for 15 years. All right. So I know what it's like. I was proud to work for that bank. I used to think that it was, listen, I was that girl that if the ATM machine broke down or if the money was running low, I had a phone that would tell me that my ATMs were running low, and I didn't want customers to be going to the ATM and it says, how many of you get tired? I mean, we don't really get cash anymore, and I'm scatting, guys, but hopefully you can go with me. But how many of you get tired if you go to an ATM and it says out of service or no £10 notes? Is that not one of your bugbears? Is it not one of them things that you're like, why can't I get cash out? Where's the nearest cash point? Why am I driving around trying to look for a cash point? These days, it's not too big. But back then, when I was in branch life, I used to be like the person that used to think, and this is what they do. And I don't know what field you're in, but this is what they do. If you don't do it, you know, this is going to be the consequence. If you don't do that overtime, even though you don't get paid for it, then, you know, you're going to be letting some people down. Or, you know, if you don't come in, you know, your colleagues are going to be short-staffed. How many of you have felt that one? If you don't, you know, if you call in sick, everybody else is going to suffer. If you go to your child's school play, everybody else is going to be working double time. And now you have that pain of feeling guilty because you're letting somebody else down when you show up. Let me tell you this, that's the brainwashing that they do. That emotional blackmail, Robin, is crazy. And I was sucked in that for so long. I remember, yeah, we had a death in the family and they said to me, okay, you can get 1 day bereavement leave. I'm like, you're telling me how long I should actually take to recover from a death in my family? And I understand how a business works, guys. You know, business needs to work and there needs to be systems in place and people, there needs to be order and people can't just come and go as they please. But what I'm saying is the price that they pay you, the money that they pay you every single month, you're not doing it for free, guys. The money they pay you, you are selling yourself. You're selling your goals. You're selling your dreams, and you're telling them that the more you pay me, sometimes that paycheck can be a curse. I'm not even going to lie to you. And you know what I did? 1 month into this opportunity, I put myself in a sink or swim situation. I was like, I'm not gonna depend on this income anymore. I'm going to go so hard in this business that all I think about is the money that I make from this business. I'm going to put my back against the wall. Because if I carry on leaning on this paycheck, what I'm going to do is I'm never going to get myself out the blocks. I'm never going to get myself out the gates. because I'm constantly thinking about that paycheck. So what I did, guys, is when the pay came in, I pushed it to a side. I pretended like I didn't have it. And I wanted to see to myself if I could survive without that paycheck. Because I needed out. I needed a way out. And I knew that that paycheck was just crucifying me. I knew that that paycheck was keeping me in bondage. I knew that that paycheck was killing me. Now, for those of you that are spiritual on this call, let me just highlight something to you guys. I want to highlight something to you guys because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people hasn't deeped this. And this is something that's so passionate to my heart, guys. Some people that, you know, follow biblically, and I don't know, I'm not too sure when it comes to the Quran and other books. If you are, you know, a Muslim or, you know, any other religion, I'm sure you can look it up in your book. But inside the Bible, guys, there's certain characters inside the Bible, all right, that are examples of, you know, the grace of God. How many of you believe that the grace of God is on your life? How many of you believe that if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't be here right now? How many of you believe that if it wasn't for his grace and mercy, you would not be where you are right now? How many of you believe that he is the finisher of your faith, that he has allowed you to be able to be the head and not the tail, that he has allowed you to live and not die, that he's been able to make sure that no weapon formed against you has prospered? So if we're all in agreement and we believe that there's a calling over our life, that there is a reason why we're here today, I promise you I'm going somewhere with this, guys. And we have, you know, our book that we say is the Word of God. Whatever your book is, there's a Word of God, and there are certain characters within that book that display the blessings, that display the grace of God through those characters in that book. Now, when you look at the characters in that book, guys, I want you guys to tell me this, because I tried to find it and I couldn't see it. I couldn't see anybody in that book that God called and said, you were born to be an employee. You see, the people in that book were entrepreneurs. The people in that book were business owners. The people in that book were creators. The Proverbs 31 woman was an entrepreneur. I want you to think about this, guys. Right? A lot of people think that Joseph was poor because they had the baby in the manger. I want to let you understand that before they had the baby in the manger, they were looking for room in the inn, which means they could have afforded accommodation. There was just no room in the inn. Joseph had money, guys. He weren't broke. Right? I spoke about it the other day, our boy Boaz. Right? Our boy Boaz was not broke, guys. He was an entrepreneur in the fields. In fact, he was able to bless and give to is it Hannah or Ruth? Ruth, right? I want us to think about this thing on a level where we're starting to be not just logical, but we understand that it's already been ordained before we were born. That you were put on this earth for a purpose. And if we are saying that we are believers of the holy book, whatever your holy book looks like, I want you to look at the characters in that book. Yes, some of them went through hardship. Yes, some of them, even Job, who lost everything. Before he lost everything, what was he? An entrepreneur. Right? And when he did come through, guys, what happened? He was blessed 10 times more than what he lost. He owned different animals. He had businesses. He had generational wealth going on with his family. Right? Esther went into the royal house, guys. She went into the palace. I want you to understand that before you were born, it was already ordained that when you live in your calling, in the place where you were supposed to, when you decide to live in your calling, this is a will thing. It's not a skill thing, guys. I want you to stop telling yourself that you're not skilled enough. This is a will thing. Will you decide to live in your purpose? Because let me tell you this right now. When you decide to live in your purpose, a byproduct of you living in your purpose is wealth. A byproduct of you living in your purpose is wealth. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. If a byproduct of me living in my purpose is wealth, what's the opposite of that then? If a and when I'm talking wealth, I'm talking mind, body, spirit, soul. I'm talking in. I'm not just talking about money. I want us to understand this. When I say the word wealth, I'm not just talking about money. So when you choose to live in the calling of what you've been created for on earth, the byproduct of that is wealth. So if I have the will and I choose not to live in my calling, right? I choose to go against. Now, what happened to all the people in the Bible that chose to go against the will of God, that chose to go against what God had planned for their life? What about the guy that was given the talents? Instead of multiplying the talents, what did he do? He tried to bury the talent. And guess what happened? It was taken away. What happened to Lot's wife who decided to look back? What happened to all the people that decided to go against the will of where God ordained them to be? Now, here's the reverse of that. What happened to Abraham, who decided to listen to the word, listen to the instruction, leave everything you know, leave your comfort zone, come out of your comfort zone and go into a new place? I'm bringing you into a new place, into a new land that you don't have no idea about, but I want you to trust me that this position that I'm bringing you to is going to be greater than your latter. It's going to be greater than where you're coming from. If you trust in where I'm going, and you will be the father of many, many nations. And we already know the story, right? So I want us to understand that each and every one of us have this amazing thing called freedom of choice. Will. Now, here's what happens to us, guys. What happens to us is life. Now, life happens to us. So guess what happens? We have the will. I even dare to say, some of you on the call, you got it in your mind, you visualize, you do the stuff. It's in your heart. But life comes about. Life happens. You end up having to sort out family. You end up doing overtime at work. You end up being so loyal and committed to things outside of your control, outside of what it is that you've been called to do. And those things take precedent over what it is that you're supposed to be doing. How many of you remember the story in the Bible where the guy's dad died and God called him, was like, come, I got a mission for you. He was like, hold on, God, let me go bury my dad first and then I'll come back to you. And God's like, are you crazy? Did you not see I gave you a mission? You're telling me that you want to go do your own thing first? Because when I first heard this, right, I thought, and I read this scripture so many times, I was like, that's a bit harsh. Let the dead bury their dead. Hold on, that's a bit, like, that comment is harsh. How many of you heard it and thought, nah, that's a bit strange? Man just saying he wants to bury his dad. Like, how bad is that? But when you look deeper into it, this is about an obedience thing. This is about a purpose thing. This is about a mission thing. It's about sacrifice. The lessons that we're being taught in that one, let the dead bury their dead, is about a sacrifice. It's about understanding a calling over your life is going to be uncomfortable. The will that you have, will you choose to follow the path of your destiny, or will you choose to follow the path of your past? Because some of us are following the path of our past. You know that job is not the job that you want to do for the rest of your life, but you dedicate every single second to it, which I'm not knocking, because ain't nobody trying to get you fired from your job. But what I'm saying is you got to be careful what you're being loyal to, because what you're being loyal to will damage the destiny and the calling and the purpose and the mission over your future, over your life, over the generations, over the things that you have to do right now to become the person that you want to become. The person that you were called to become. It's not even about you wanting to become. Remember, we spoke about this many times, and that before you was formed in his womb, it was already ordained. He already knew what you was going to be before you were even created, before you were thought of. The purpose over your life was already ordained. So you've already gotten a mission assigned over your life. How do I find that mission, Nikki? I want you to think back. Think back to that person inside of you. Think back to, the things that you do. We spoke about this before, about the things you do naturally, the things that you do just, without second guessing it. I think we spoke about this last week or the week before. How you do things just naturally. What are the things that you've been called to do on this earth? And are you choosing to abort the mission because you're comfortable in your current environment? Because one of the things that I know is that I cannot live in a spirit of fear. And a lot of us live in a spirit of fear. How many of us, let's be honest, if I don't do this 9-to-5 job all out every day, I don't want to lose my income because I got bills to pay. I got my car to pay for. I got my loan to pay for. I got a family to feed. I've got, I got family back home depending on me. I can't afford to lose this income stream, because if I lose this income stream, then maybe everything that I've worked for so far is not going to be able to be maintained. That's the juxtaposition that we find ourselves in, guys, when we come into this academy. Because we're getting taught rich dad, poor dad. 95% of the world work jobs and are broke. 5% are entrepreneurs. And now you trying this entrepreneurial thing and we ain't seeing results straight away. And it's like, I can't afford to go for the unsure, leave the shore and go for the unsure whilst I'm building up this business. Am I talking to anybody, or is it just me that felt like that at the beginning? Like, I need to make sure that I solidify myself before I start giving away the shore for the unsure. But that's what they do to keep you in bondage. So what do we have to do? We have to use the will. We have to use the will to make sure that, yes, we're going to do the 9-to-5. Yes, we're going to do the daily activities that we're being paid for. But guess what, guys? Your 9-to-5 should be funding your get out of jail free card. Your 9-to-5 should be what's going to fund your future. Your 9-to-5 is you're going to take that money and use that money and flip that money to help free yourself out of that death trap that they put us in, guys. They lied to us and told us that was the way out. And I'm telling you right now, I've been looking spiritually, I've been looking physically, I've been looking logically, and I cannot see one place, one successful person, one successful system, one successful spiritual word that tells me that working a 9-to-5 job is what's going to get us living in our purpose. It's not even normal, guys. Think about this. We're told spiritually that, how many of you believe, put a number 1 in the chat, if we are supposed to give back as part of our calling in life, we're supposed to give back. Put a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 2 in the chat. If part of our calling in life is supposed to help a neighbor, or it's supposed to give back to the community, it's supposed to maybe go and you see a need and you go and help that person. Type a number 3 in the chat if you believe that you have on the inside of you missions where you go and do ministry, or you go out the country and you go and help different countries, different people, different things all over the world. Now tell me, if that is the case, if we are supposed to be doing all of this stuff, type a number 4 in the chat if you believe that you're ordained to have children, or you have children and you believe that children, being a parent, is a part of what you're supposed to be. Being a grandparent, number 5, is what you're supposed to be. All right, I want you to put a number 6 in the chat if you believe that you're supposed to be enjoying life, maybe going to the cinema every now and again, maybe going to bowling or going out to dinner. Put a number 7 in the chat if you believe you would love to take your parents on holiday, you would love to go on family holidays, you would love to go on a holiday just you and your spouse. That's free holidays already that you want to go on to. All right, now how on earth are we going to do those 7 things plus work a 9-to-5 job plus be able to afford all of that? That's not ordained by God, guys. There's no way. Let me tell you, how many of you believe that God is a God that shall not lie? Anybody believe that he's a God of his word and that he shall not lie? Because I want us to really to unpick this. I want you to really unravel this stuff. Because what kind of God is going to tell you to do all of those 7 things He's going to tell you to go to work. He's going to tell you that you should give back, and you can't even afford money for yourself. Like, what kind of God is going to give you those type of mixed messages? I know the God that I serve is not a God of confusion. That must mean that somewhere down the lines, we got the system mixed up a little bit. Somewhere down the lines, we began to do what man wanted us to do to keep us in poverty, to keep us feeding the family. But guess the thing, guys? The people that we work for, they're 5%ers. The people that we are working so hard for are the 5% of the world that make the most money. Now, how come the Bible tells me that I should be the lender and not the borrower, but I can barely afford to pay my bills? How do you become the lender and not the borrower if you can't even afford to pay your bills? I don't think we are really interpreting what the word is telling us properly, because I started to think about this. I was like, if so many people, and I think we're in a state of alarm, and I don't know where this call is going, guys, but I'm telling you, the 26th of June is about to be a shutdown, because I know the Spirit of God is going to be talking up in that place, right? But I'm trying to work it out in my head that we're trying to call people to Christ. We're telling people, listen, God is good. When you come to God, you are blessed. You're highly favored. That no weapon formed against you will prosper. You are going to come in and you're going to access his riches and glory and manifestation, and you're going to be healed. And this is going to happen. But all the people that you know, all the people that you see that are living that lifestyle are still broke. Now, the young people coming up are like, do I follow Nicki Minaj? Do I follow Cardi B, who's making all the money? Or do I follow the broke people in the church that's telling me to follow the way, but they don't have the results for themselves? I want to tell somebody right now in the call that there is an alarm bell that we need to ring as people of God to show them the blessings of God. That the blessings of God is actually true, guys. There is true blessing. I'm a living testimony. We are not, we're not against money, guys. We're not against wealth. When you work together with the blessings of God, when you work together with the calling over your life, the money comes. The money comes when you are in alignment with where he wants you to be. So what that means is that some of us are teaching the wrong things in these churches. We're teaching our people that money is evil because we quote in scriptures like money is the root of all evil, right? We're teaching people, oh, it's not the love, it's the love of money. There's no problem in loving money, guys. What you don't want to do is love money more than the creator that created it. Right? And this is where we need to understand, because at the beginning of the call, I told you guys I love macaroni and cheese, and no one called me the devil. But when I say I love money, people are going to call me a devil and a demon and say that I'm working for Satan. But I'm allowed to love my car. I'm allowed to love my house. I'm allowed to love all macaroni and cheese and pepper steak and barbecue sauce and barbecue chicken wings. And I'm allowed to eat pork. Now that I moved out my Rastaman stepdad's house and I live by myself in my free picnics, I can eat pork chops, and no one ain't calling me the devil. But the minute I say I love money because I'm going to impact the world, it seems to be an issue. So we have to wake up to what's going on right now. We need to stop teaching people wrong things. Stop saying money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. Do we not see that one of our homeboys from South London just opened a place in for the young kids to go, a computer setup? Right? So that all the young kids now can go and have a free computer to use, and they can do it. That costs money. We saw our very own Man United player donating X amount of money, right? X amount of money. That's it, Fecky. Yeah? X amount of money. But the government weren't doing that. What's the government's strategy to repay all the debts of COVID? The government said, hey, what? Anybody who has £1 million or more to donate to the government, yes, it's Rashford. Anyone who has £1 million or more to donate to the government, we're going to do a deal with you and we're going to cut your taxes. Right now, the government are looking for rich people to help them bail out the country. Right now, it's the people that have money that's about to save the world. How many of you, if you had more money, you'd give back more? How many of you, if you had more money, you set up a homeless shelter? You'd be able to do all these things. These things cost money. So what am I saying, guys? What I'm saying is no matter what your situation is, make time and make room for you to understand what you need to do, the will, what you need to do with your will. What will you do? Because you can. We all know you can. We all know you got it in you. But what will you do in this time? What will you decide to execute? Because what I'm saying right now is not even just for you and I, guys. There is a state of emergency right now. We have the elders dying out, the ladies with the what do they call it? The maracas and the tambourines. How many of you remember the maracas and the tambourines? Yeah? Down by the river. Yeah? Holy Ghost fire. All of that is burning out, guys. When they die, who's going to take over? Who's going to start praying over the people? Who's going to start talking to the people and saying this is the way forward? Because right now the role models is Cardi B. Right now, the role models are the people on the TV that look like they got all the shiny toys, the Gucci's and the Birkin bags. That's who's impressing our children right now. So how many of you are not just going to be talking the talk because it's easy to go up and it's easy to say, yes, the grace of God is on my life and I'm so grateful. But what about the young people? Do they see the grace of God on your life? Do they see the manifestation, the evidence? Because there is always evidence. I want to tell you this right now. How many of you have a testimony that God has been good for you? There's always evidence. There's always proof to the pudding. Some of you, the fact that you're still alive is proof to the pudding. The fact that I'm remarried is proof to the pudding. That was definitely not on my cards, guys. Right? There is so many evidence and proof. What does it say? By your fruit. By your fruit will he know you. That means it's not just by what you think in your mind, it's by what you produce. Now, the young people are looking at the fruit. They're looking at who do I follow? Do I follow Miss Bernadette from church, who's been coming there every single year since she's been 30 years old? She's now 70, 80, 90 years old, and she's still crying that she's broke? Or do I follow Cardi B, who mentions God in her lyrics? That's the trick, right? And now I'm going to go dress half naked and skin out, and that's the way forward. Or maybe it's not Cardi B, maybe it's a gang member. Now the gangs, they seem to have all the money. They seem to be doing all the things that I want. Do I follow the gangs? Where are the role models in our society that can show the young people? How many young people do you know that would look around and say, hey, I want to be like mother such and such in the church. I want to be like brother such and such in the church. Who do we have right now that is going to be the role model? You know, I said to somebody the other day, she was like, you know, who's the person that everyone looks up to in America? Like, what's the American finger? Oprah. And I went, so, okay, who's the Oprah of the UK? Who are the young people in the UK looking up? Who is the Oprah? Where are they looking to? Where are the young men looking to? Because let me tell you this, guys, we have a state of an alarm. We have a problem. And I'm coming to you right now to let you know that I'm ready to be part of the solution. I'm going to get back out into the streets. I want to talk to the young men, the young females. I want to get back into the streets to show them that there is wealth still following the cross. There is wealth still doing the right thing. You don't need to. When I was growing up, the only people that had money were drug dealers. They were the only people that I saw had money. So guess who I aspired to be like? The drug dealers. I wanted to roll with them because they were the only ones that looked like success. So where am I building this up to, guys? I'm building this up to say this. You may think you just joined I Am Academy just to make a little bit extra money, but the minute you decide to fight, the minute you use your willpower, the minute you decide to use your willpower to say, you know what, I need to do this, not just for myself, but to be a role model to those younger ones coming up so they can have somebody that looks like me, that believes in the right things, doing the right things, so they don't have to turn to the streets. So they don't have to turn to, you know, Boo Boo the Clown. So they don't have to go listening to Wesman and them shotter boys in a chicken shop. They can look to their local community and go, do you know what? Prophetess Natasha's doing it, I can do it. Kayan's doing it, so I can do it. Beverly's doing it, so I can do it. I know Tim from back in the day and he's doing it, so I can do it. I've seen them level up right in front of my face. You see, sometimes it's not about what you say, guys. How many of you, when you were younger, you were told by your parents, like my mum told me not to smoke, but she smoked. It's not about what you tell me. She told me not to swear, but every word that came out of her mouth was a swear word. I had to teach myself to stop swearing. How many of you have been around people that are just hypocritical? They're telling you one thing, but they're doing something else. We got to change that up. And yes, we're going to be manifesting. And yes, we're going to be saying the affirmations. And yes, we're going to be talking the talk. But I'm tired of just talking the talk, guys. Aren't you tired of keep saying things are going to get better? Why don't they just get better? Aren't you tired of saying, this is going to happen in the future? And yes, waiting is a part of the process. We understand that. Look at Abraham. It took him to 90 something to have the kid. I get it. But that could have been potentially because of his disobedience. I want to let some of you know right now, the reason why you ain't had the breakthrough is not because you got to be waiting. It's because of your disobedience. Some of you right now have been given that word of what to do, but you're saying you're shy, or you're holding back, or you're saying I need more training, I need this, you need nothing. That's what Just Do It June is about. Just do it. Because this is now not just about you. This is about life. Do you understand that this state of emergency that I'm calling right now is to save generations to come? I am seriously concerned about the young people coming up. I've had a few young people approach me over the last 2 weeks, and they said, Nikki, we see you online, we see you talking about God, but why isn't there? And what is this? And they have questions. They have a lot of questions. The youth are the future and they are confused. And they need the baton passed down to them. And right now, all we're passing down to them is broke strategies. We're passing down fear to them. We're passing down money is the root of all evil. We're passing down, come to church, put it at the altar, keep praying, but don't do nothing about it. And I'm sorry if this is a controversial statement, guys, because I'm a church girl. I'm a girl that loves God. I love Jesus. But I know that every time that I prayed and I've acted, he's moved in my life. I don't have to wait too long for him to move. And I don't have an Abraham testimony where I had to wait 99 years for my breakthrough, guys. Because when I heard the word of God, when I listened to what he had to say and I acted, because there was a time when there was disobedience, and disobedience brings delays. Someone needs to write that down. Disobedience brings delays, guys. But if you claim to be somebody spiritually aware, you understand what God is telling you to do, and you are not doing it, you're sitting in fear, you're closing doors that he's opened for you. Not only are you destroying your future, but you're mashing up the generations to come. Because they need you. We all need to survive. We all need to thrive so that the generations coming up can have somebody to look up to. Some role models that are living life in alignment to say, listen, this is what God has blessed me for. How many of you have seen Dr. Jewel Tenkard? How many of you have seen her online preaching the word of God, but she's got the evidence, the proof to show this is what he's blessed me with. And it's not about boasting, it's about evidence. When you show evidence, people are going to see the blessing. The blessing should be there. And I'm not saying that, we're not trying. I'm not saying that we're not, but I'm calling for us to just do it in this season. I'm calling for us to raise the bar in this season. I'm calling for us to say, listen, there is a need. There's a need for speed in this season. There's a need to move in this season. There's a need to not overthink things, but just to do it in this season. There's a need for us to really understand that we're called for a time like this for greater things. Now, I don't know if you're suffering from low self-esteem. I don't know if you're suffering from fear. I don't know if you're suffering from what they said about you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even yesterday. I don't know what the situation is, but what I do know is that you were called. I do know that everything that's happened to you up until this point was already written. He'd already seen it, but he still called you for a time like this. He still called you to be who you are called to be. So regardless of what's gone on, and I'll be honest with you guys, a long time I sat in shame. And I don't know if anybody feels ashamed. about their past or about their decision making. And I had to apologize to myself. I had to apologize to God. I had to really own it and let it go. Some of you need to forgive yourself. Some of you need to let it go. Forgive whoever did it. Forget the past, guys. Forget the past and move forward. Because if the past is holding you back, you can't stay in the past and the future at the same time. You just can't. And if you're living in the past, you're delaying the future. And so this is a season, guys, that Just Do It was called for us to just do it. Some of us are perfectionists. Don't try to be a perfectionist. Just do it. Procrastination. Just do it. Waiting for somebody else's approval. Just do it. Wait until you lose weight. Just do it. Wait until your hair's done, your nails done. Just do it. Just do it. You're called for a time like this. And I wasn't sure if we were ready for a call like this, guys, because I know some of us are working through some stuff and I get it. But when you understand that the calling over your life is really nothing about you, you got to get out your own way. Get out the way. Somebody's waiting for you to just do it so that they can just do it too. And you got to get out your own way, guys. Move out your own way. Make a decision today to move out your own way. My heart is for the young people because I understand that the young people, they need the wisdom of the elders. I talk about it all the time because I understand that ungratefulness is close to witchcraft. And I can't be ungrateful to the woman that pushed me, the woman that spoke life into me, Auntie Anne. And it was her wisdom. It's her sowing. It's her sacrifices. It's the way that she overcame certain things that allowed her to pour into me the way that she did. And so if it wasn't for the blessings of those that were, and Auntie Anne's not really an elder, a little bit older than me, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit older than me. But her wisdom was able to, she was able to use some of her past pain and some of her past experiences to pour into me so that I didn't lose hope and I didn't lose faith. And I'm not just talking about this business, guys. I'm talking about my life. That woman helped to save my life. She spoke life into me. And you can speak life into somebody else too. You can provide that blessing to somebody else too. You are worth it. Don't let anybody think, you know what I used to think, Nikki, you can't talk about the grace of God because you ain't been to Philosian College. You don't know the Bible like them. You don't know the scripture off by heart like some of them. So I used to tell myself in my mind that I wasn't good enough. I couldn't stand up in front of anybody and to share just the love that I have for God. But let me tell you this, the devil's a liar. The devil is a liar. Them little insecurities that they put inside of you is because they're scared of you. Because the minute you unleash, it's game over. The minute you let loose, it's game over. The minute you free up, someone say free up in the chat. The minute you free up, it's all over. The minute you let go of the control, it's all over. The minute you stop fearing yourself, it's all over. The minute you just start to walk through those doors. I don't know how to do the opportunity call, but hey, I'm going to give it a go. I don't know how to do this thing, but hey, I'm going to give it a go. Some of you are still on demo because you're scared to lose 10p. I don't know how to, like, you just got to do it, guys. How many of you sit and watch your trades? You're watching your trades and you're like this. Is it going to go blue? And you're ringing, you're in the chat looking to see if anybody else is typing it. And you're like, why is it still red? Put it on 30 seconds ago. Is it going to turn blue yet? Or you're in the HFX trade and you're looking at the rollover button like, should I roll over? Your heart's beating. Should I roll over? You got to trust the process. You can't be a control freak. You win some, you're going to lose some. You're going to make some things work, some things won't work. That's the power of, of life, that we learn from our mistakes. Let me tell you, what did I write down? When you're up, you celebrate. When you're down, you contemplate. When you're up, you celebrate. When you're down, you contemplate. Do you know what I've learned? My biggest lessons have come through losses. You don't learn much when you're winning because you're up. Yeah. How many of you have been up and you feel like you can't even lose a trade? You're like, hey, hey. I can always tell when people had good days trading. They're going on Instagram Live. They're like, woo, Friday. Right? They're literally like, they're on the live. They're dropping in the chats. They're putting all the flames. They're like, yeah, doing a video to their group. Guys, this platform works. Stay at it. Stay at it, guys. It works. It works. And you can tell the energy when someone's up. But in your lessons, how are you then? Can someone tell when you made money to when you made a loss? Because if I can tell, you ain't doing the process right. You should not be connected to the outcome. You should be relaxed. Right? I know there ain't Kamali in the chat, because when Kamali wins big, the whole world knows about it. Kamali's like, I love you, Nikki. Thank you for introducing this platform to me, Nikki. Nikki, you're the best mentor ever in life. Like, guys, I remember the day I went to Nikki's house. He started giving testimony again. Big up, Kamali. You know when people has made it big. But can you have that same energy on a day where you haven't won it so big? On a day where it hasn't gone your way? On a day where you have to do overtime at work, your boss getting on your nerves, clients getting on your nerves, this happening, that happening, your business going backwards, trades hitting stop loss. Can you have that same energy? Because I tell you this, when you can have the same energy regardless of the outcome, that's when you know you're living in your calling. Because you understand that it's not about your results today. It is, what is it, guys? The infinite game. You're playing the infinite game, guys. This is the book that literally taught me everything. The infinite game. If you don't have this book, get this book. The infinite game. You cannot play an infinite game with finite rules. It don't work. Infinite means forever, guys. It's ongoing, never ending. So if you know the game is never ending, but you're playing the rules by a finite rule, meaning you're throwing in the towel today when the game hasn't ended yet. You can't play an infinite game with finite rules. And some of you need to remember that this is a long-term thing. This thing called life, until the breath is gone out of your lungs, you're still here to impact the world. You're still here to make a difference. You've been called for a time like this. You can do this. I believe that nothing is a coincidence. You're on this call for a purpose. You're on this call for a reason. And if you just got one thing off today's call, then I have done the purpose. I have lived the purpose for today. And I want us to end this call, guys, on some affirmations, because I believe not only do we need to understand that this is a will issue, it's not a skill issue. Stop telling yourself you need more training. Stop telling yourself that you can't do it. You can do it. But I also want to end on speaking life over ourselves. And I want us to all repeat this together, guys. So wherever you are, you know, in your house, I just want you to say it out loud for me, guys. All right. So God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. Right? He's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. I am loved by God. He will never leave me or abandon me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. God has great plans for my life. I have been uniquely designed for a purpose. God listens to me. I trust God. He had me in mind before I was born. Today I decide I will be present in every moment. I am smart. I am kind. Today is a great day. I am brave. I am beautiful. I'm a good mom. or dad. I am exactly who my kids need. I'm capable of amazing things. I am grateful for the time I get to spend with my children, my family. I'll show my children love through my actions and words. My children don't need a perfect mom or dad. I will stay calm even in the midst of chaos. I'm not just a mom or dad, but I have purpose. I am a gift from God. I am bold. I am strong. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am the head and not the tail. Fear will not control me. I have faith that I am who He says I am. I love me. I love me. I am worth it. I love me. I love me. I am imperfectly perfect. I love me. I want someone in the chat to type, I love me. I love me. I am covered by His grace and mercy. I love me. Guys, I want to let you know that you are special. You have not been forgotten. I'm grateful for the lives of each and every one of you. You know, sometimes I stay up late at nights to try to respond to as many of you as I can. And, you know, excuse me, guys, if I can't get back to all of you, but I just want to let you publicly know on this call right now that there's not a day that goes by that I don't pray for the Wealthier World family. There's not a day that goes by that I don't pray that God can keep strengthening me to keep telling you guys that He's not forgotten you, that He loves you, that you are worth it. And I want to tell you right now to keep loving you. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your goals. I know it gets tough. I know the day-to-day rat race. I know. But will you have the will? And this is where you don't have to use your will, but His will. Will you understand that the calling over your life is not just for you, but it's been ordained by Him for the people that you're due to serve? Love yourself enough to put your best foot forward. Love yourself enough to be the light in all darkness. Love yourself enough to encourage yourself. Guys, I love you. I'm not going to stop fighting for you. I love me too. I love who I'm becoming. I love who we are becoming. And I can't wait for that 26 so I can actually hug some of you guys. And I know we got COVID, but I just want to squeeze some of you guys and just say, Nikki loves you. I love you guys. We're family for life. You can't separate us, guys. I know the devil will try, the haters will try, but they can't separate us. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And the 26 is definitely going to be a movie, guys. Let me stop this recording before I tell you a little special announcement.